Right, due to SIPS regulations, we've had to come up with a special rig for fishing the river. What I've got is £6 main line, and one of the rules is the feeder has to be free running. So as you can see, just there, it's free running, moving up and down the line. This is so that if the main line breaks above the feeder, the fish is not left trailing any tackle. So we've got a free running rig, and what we wanted to do was make it as tangle free as possible. So the first job when tying it is to thread the snap link swivel up onto the line. So that threads up towards the rod top, and then what I do is tie a 4 to 6 inch loop, big loop, in below the loose feeder. So I've got a 6-inch loop in the bottom of the main line, and then what I've done is tied a series of small loops. I've got one about 1.5 inches below the main knot, then another one, and then finally the loop at the bottom is where my hook length joins. The idea is that this creates a stiff boom and stops the rig from tangling on the cast, so it keeps the hook length from getting caught around the actual feeder itself. It also acts as a shock absorber for the cast. What we've done to stop the feeder going down onto the hook length, just placed 2 number 4 stots. And we did try different types of rubber bead and stuff like that, but the advantage of the stots is, even when you're casting a long way, some of the pegs on the river lead 70, 80 yard chucks, the stots don't move, they stay in place. So they act as a nice little shocker, so the feeder's always resting against them. Then we've got your hook length. All I've done is a little loop to loop connection. You can see the loop, basically there's a loop in the end of the big loop, small loop in the hook length. Then I've got a hook length of about 60 centimetres. And when there's restrictions on hook length size, it's 50 centimetres minimum. So we've been messing about basically using hook lengths anything between 50 centimetres and 1.5 meters, depending on the species we're fishing for. Lastly, we've got hook. Because of the diversity of the river, we could be fishing for carp, carasio, catfish. We've been tying up a lot of different hook patterns, ranging in sizes from anything from like an 18 for catching little tiny fish to a 14 or even a 12 for catching carp up to sort of 6 kilo like we've had in practice. So that's the basics of the rig. Now it's all going to be about the fishing.